Good morning, ladies, and welcome to another episode of the Wealthy Woman podcast with me, your host, Rebecca Barr. I am so excited to share with you today's episode because a lot has been going on in my world. And I always promise with this podcast that we're not going to gatekeep. We're going to share everything in real time so that you can get value as I grow and elevate my business. You can be there right alongside me with all of the behind the scenes and all of the things. So, this week, or the week just gone, the Friday, I just hosted an incredible in-person event for women in business called the Wealthy Woman CEO 2024 event. There were probably around 65, 70 women in attendance. We also had some women that didn't turn up on the day, which was absolutely fine. And I want to break down everything that went on, the good, the bad, and the ugly, because I also had some negative outcomes from the event also, in case you are interested or inspired to create your own event next year. So basically, these are the steps that I would go through. So just a little side note and some context. Before children, so I always say like BC, before children, I was actually an events manager for a business that hosted events across the globe. So I lived in Dubai for a while. I hosted events in Cairo, across Europe, in London, and worked with some really incredible clients. So I know what it means to create an experience, a moment, and a really valuable event for somebody who's attending. I always give credit to my boss. Now, she was a little bit like Miranda Priestley, like Devil Wears Prada. She was absolutely like no filter, a really formidable character who got what she wanted and was not afraid to articulate her needs. And now, as a business owner and understanding like the pressure and the responsibilities and the commitments that she must have had, not only to be, speaking to and attracting those high level corporate clients, but also to manage and be responsible for a team of 10 women. I am so impressed and have so much respect. At the time, I was like, oh, she's a bit mean. But I think the lessons that I learned by working underneath her have put me in such good stead in life, in business, in my corporate career. So I'm truly grateful for those lessons. And it has really set the bar like super high. And I remember she always used to say things like, if you're hosting an event, like, where is the wow? Where is the wow moment and the showstopper? Because even if it is a corporate event and people are just there to learn and network, like, you can always make it memorable, make it incredible. So I've always had like these little kind of seeds that I've planted. I always love to go above and beyond. That's a beautiful collaboration and alignment with me as a person. So even like as a mum or as a hostess, if you come to my house for Halloween or Christmas or Easter, Valentine's Day, it's going to be a whole big thing. We're going to have loads of like opportunities to make memories, because I fully believe in like we only get one life, so we need to romanticize and celebrate every moment. So before you even start planning for your event, I think it's really important to conceptualize like, what is it that I want to create? Why am I doing this? What is it that I want to support and facilitate the people that are attending to achieve? So for me, I've been doing events for years, and every event gets bigger and better, or it's, and one thing I've really leaned into is doing things in a bougie and fun way. I always joke that, especially as a mum with nearly 6 kids, I don't leave the house very often. So if I'm going to leave the house, it's going to be worth it, and it's going to be exciting, and it's going to feel fabulous, because why the hell am I going to bother otherwise? Especially now where I am. So I'm currently 8 months pregnant. I obviously started the planning for this event at the beginning of the year, before I even knew that there was another baby in the plans or the works. And then obviously as the year unfolded, I had every reason to lean out and to be like, do you know what? That's too much work. It's too much effort. It's too much risk, because when you host large scale events, there's a huge financial commitment up front. And you've got to have the like stones for that. You've got to have the inner confidence for that. And check your ego at the door, essentially, because if I hadn't sold the tickets, I've still made promises to sponsors and speakers that I and my audience on socials that I need to deliver on. So for me, there was no option of backing out of this event at any point, which can be tough when you're a single, pretty much single parent, solopreneur. You're the face of your business. It's a lot of weight to carry, but I just know the power. I really believed in the event and the power of being in the room with other incredible, inspiring women who can pay it forwards and share their journeys to success and their strategies for success. And I also believed in the ethos of the event, which was around elevating your health, your wealth, and your business success in 2025. So no longer as women do we have to compromise or burn out or hustle or do anything that we don't want to do in business, because for me, my ultimate mission as a business mentor is to create sustainable success. So, typically female led businesses have the highest open and close rates because we're just building businesses and that we can't possibly sustain over the long term. So, as soon as life happens, kids happens, other commitments, everything falls by the wayside. And, for me, obviously, because I have been a single parent for the majority of my journey, I've never had that option. When I left corporate and sold my house and bought my first business, there was no going back from there. So I have always had to make it work. And if something isn't working, open myself up to new and creative ways to find an alternative solution without my ego getting in the way. And because of that, resourcefulness, creativity, adaptability, I truly believe that's why I'm still here 10 years later in business. And every year, not only do I get better and better as a person, but also so does my business success. And that's what I want to create for more women, because truly, financially empowered women who are building businesses on their own terms that are sustainable and enjoyable, and connected to your soul's purpose, like, you are totally unstoppable and unfuckable with. And that is how we make the world a better place. More feminine energy leadership. So when I say thinking about like the bigger concept for your event, like really go big. Like that's what it was for me. That made it a non-negotiable. Can't stop, not gonna cancel, has to happen, because I've been to so many events, like networking events, educational events, where it is so masculine, where it's so shady in terms of like people have paid to be on that stage, whether what they're teaching is any good or not, and I've walked away almost like pissed off because I'm like, oh God. And the scarcity and the mindset and the hustle and the pitch and the this and the that, and people are like crazy, like spending money that they don't have on things that they don't need to get results that they don't want. And I'm like, no, this event is going to be like the anti that, everything that I've experienced in events that are tailored towards entrepreneurship. So for me, this was like a soul's mission. It needs to happen. So the first thing I did was obviously did that bigger picture conceptualization around like, who is it that is going to benefit by being in the room? Who do I want to speak on that stage? Like, what do I want the format, the feel, and the flow to be for the event? So for me, again, didn't want it to feel like you're just sitting there being spoken at. I wanted it to be something that was fun, fabulous, but also interactive. Lots of opportunities for networking, but also like, I understand the assignment, ladies. Like, we are solopreneurs and we also need like Instagrammable content that we can bank to build trust and authority with our audience. Because if you are the kind of woman that invests in your personal development and your personal growth and your business success, then that goes a long way in building trust and confidence with your clients. So again, like, I could have done this for half the price at some crappy little hotel, but again, why am I going to want to do that? Because that doesn't feel fun or exciting to attend for me. It also doesn't create the look or feel or experience that I want to create for the women that are attending. And is that really like going to serve me on socials going forwards? No. So did I book the more expensive hotel? Absolutely. Did I book the extra little bits and pieces and went the extra mile? I had a 360 camera. I had content creators there. I had like a little red carpet, like banner stand for the women to really have their moment and celebrate this growth. Because for some of them, it was the first event they'd ever been to. Let's honor and celebrate that. I went above and beyond with the gift bags. They were beautiful, luxury, like the food. We're not just doing little cold buffets at the back of the room. Like we had a beautiful sit down meal with the women at lunchtime so they could really like make some meaningful connections, because again, for me it was all about the ROI for the speakers and for the women that were attending. Equally, we had like a celebratory drinks reception, which was amazing, just fun, fabulous. And everything that was created throughout the day, and every moment that happened, and every kind of thing that was there was fully intentional. Like the music was intentional, the workbooks, again, could have just given people, like, I've been to events that I've paid high ticket for, and all they've given me is like a crappy little notebook that the hotel gives away for free. And I'm like, we're not doing that, because equally I want the women to go away and actually anchor in the learnings and actually feel use the workbook that I'd created as like their Bible for 2025. So I truly believe like it's better to decide on the experience that you want to create and who's going to benefit from it, and then reverse engineer that to determine like what your profit margins look like. Therefore, what do the ticket prices need to be? What's included? Do you need to add different tiers to the packages? So for me, I had 2 tickets. I had the basic delegate ticket where it was like you come, you have the whole day, and it's amazing. And if you only do that one thing, you're not missing out, but it's going to be beautiful and fabulous and incredible. But I also elevated the experience for the women who wanted more from it by adding in a fabulous VIP dinner. And again, the hotel said to me, you can host it here, that's absolutely fine, like we'll use the same restaurant as lunchtime. And that would have been the most cost effective, easiest like way to execute. But for me, I was like, no, this is supposed to be a beautiful, intimate, festive VIP dinner. And equally, I know what it's like when you've been in a room all day. I want to have that separation for the women. So some of them went off, they got changed, and then they came back, and we went to a beautiful restaurant. Again, elevated gift bags that I've had so much lovely feedback on. And because it is near Christmas, there was like a really lovely, like they had all the lights, and it was just so lovely and intimate and festive and exactly what I wanted. But to my surprise, pretty much half the women that attended actually came to the dinner. So I had 35 women for the dinner. So it just goes to show again, like if you give people the options, they will self-select the ones that work best for them. Obviously, there were other people that couldn't stay behind and had traveled. I had people coming in from different countries that had got planes, that had got trains, that had driven hours to be there, which literally I do not take for granted. That meant so much. So that was incredible. But obviously, they needed to get off, so that was absolutely fine. So I think equally, have at least a couple of tiers to your packages, so allow the people that want more and can pay more to pay more, and the people that just want the value to make that an accessible price point. I also added in like follow-on things, so there's things that you can do before, during, and after to engage those people. So I sent lots of nurture emails and stuff before to get them excited, to let them know what to expect. I know what it's like, particularly when you are like a woman traveling on your own to these events, particularly if it's the first one. It can be a little bit intimidating, a bit overwhelming. I wanted everyone to know this is a safe space. So again, when it came to then selecting the speakers, it was all about so I'll talk a little bit about speakers now. So it was about ensuring that it was a no pitch event. I did not want anybody that was attending to feel like they were under pressure to buy, or that they were only really getting half the puzzle and feel a little bit cheated. Again, I've been to those events where it's just one constant upsell or pitch for something else, and you feel like you kind of like cheated or missed out. It's like, well, I paid to be here and all you've done is tried to sell me more. I don't believe in that. I believe in karma. I believe in energy. I believe that the right people will find the right clients. And that is obviously part of my role as being an abundance mindset mentor. As a money coach, you have to believe that and have to be the embodiment that the right clients will invest at the right time. And getting them into a frenzy and making them buy on the day, might be a great sales strategy, but is it ethically or morally a good strategy? No. And I trust that my ideal client is more discerning than that anyway, and that they will make the right decisions for them. So the speakers had a very clear brief. Some of those, the majority of those were selected from my mastermind. So if you're in the Wealthy Woman Mastermind, one of the things that I commit to you as a mentor is opportunities to increase your visibility and your profile. So I will actively go out and find those opportunities either via, things that I can create for you as a mentor or via my own network. So when I sat down with the women earlier this year, obviously this is how the event actually came about, was because a lot of them had aspirations to speak on stages. So for me in the mastermind, I just said, I will work with you over the next 9 months, get you ready so that when that event comes around, you feel confident, you feel grounded, and you are on point. And that's essentially what happened. So the majority of the speakers came from the mastermind, which meant that I already knew that they were values aligned. I already believed in their businesses. I already knew that they would be values first because they wouldn't be in the mastermind anyway. And admittedly, there were a few niggles, and definitely some lessons learned for next year where I will be. I had some additional speakers that also came in as well, and they were amazing. And I think it's about understanding that if you create the stage, that you have the ultimate autonomy in terms of who gets to be on that stage. So how do we be really discerning with who gets access to your audience? And I think that I was possibly a little bit too generous. We're all just wanting to help each other and da 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 da. And there were a lot of egos, not a lot. There were a couple of egos that kind of just, one ego really, that just kind of didn't feel right. So I think next year I will be a lot more discerning. I will have a selection process in place. It will be by application only. And again, like the women in the mastermind, I'll be working with them very closely to refine their pitches well in advance, and just ensure that not only are they getting the value then from my event, this is something that they can then obviously, use as leverage for other events. And then anybody who isn't in the mastermind that wants to apply to be a speaker, I've got a whole big thing about, again, how I protect the audience, how I protect the experience that I want to create, and equally for the speakers, how I ultimately add value for them so they get that ROI. So again, I've worked very closely with them to ensure that they are getting exposure. It's not just all about me, that they have got the credit and the opportunities to continue to nurture those relationships without giving out people's details, by purely from a place of value adding. So that's the thing, it all feels really exciting. Moving on to the sponsors. So one thing again that I felt really passionate about was, don't just give me a load of free crap that I can put in bags that will never get you anything in terms of return. I have invested in those opportunities as a sponsor, and it's really pissed me off, to be quite honest, when I've paid thousands of pounds or given away hundreds of pounds of stock and books and things, and I've never heard anything back. And it was just a complete waste of energy, because ultimately it was the host that made money and nobody else did. For me, I didn't feel comfortable with that. It's if you're going to trust me and you're going to trust that I am going to create an audience that is quite likely to buy or invest in your services if they feel aligned to, then let's make that a brand partnership. Let's not just focus on give me some free stuff or pay me money for the day. How can I get you exposure before, during, and after the event so that you have the best opportunity to get the ROI on that investment? So again, if you're interested in sponsoring next year, let me know. And I had some incredible alliances and collaborations throughout the year off the back of that, and that commitment. I've had one that wasn't so aligned, and that hasn't worked out, and that's been really disappointing. But I think it's a lesson learned. And what I would say again going forwards, it's nice to be nice, but again, you have to be really discerning with who gets access to your audience, and just ensure that you are protecting yourself as the host, because there's a lot of money involved. I had to pay thousands upfront at the beginning of the year and also throughout the year to promote the event, to host the event, to ensure, like I say, that there are resources and everything created and opportunities for the sponsors and the speakers to get their return on that event. As the host, other than trusting that you will make money on the back end in terms of potential upsells from all clients, there isn't a lot of profit in the ticket sales, let's be honest, especially when you are someone like me who wants to create that incredible experience. I could have halved the budget, but I didn't want to, because why would I want to? Why would I want to go to an event like that, let alone? And I think people know when you've half-assed or bootstrapped an event. And I think you can be creative and be resourceful and still give an incredible feel. When I was first hosting events, I didn't have as big a budget. Certainly didn't have an ad spend or a marketing spend. But you can, if you have the money, let's not insult your audience and just like charge ridiculously high prices and deliver nothing. So for me, there wasn't a lot of profit in the ticket sales, definitely. Always ensure that you are making a profit though, ladies. Let's never make a loss. And I don't believe as a business owner in just continually expending energy on the hope that it might come back at some point. Like, you need to get paid, otherwise your business is not sustainable and you can't continue to do it. So for me, definitely some lessons learned in terms of how I'll be selecting sponsors, but the majority of them were incredible, and just like my favorite people, and to be able to then showcase their brand and their business was truly an honor and exciting. And it was like, not necessarily network marketing, but it's like where you've bought something amazing and you just want to share it with everybody. That's how it felt, because the majority of the sponsors, I've also used their services myself. So it's coming from a place of genuine, this is amazing, you should try it, you should have exposure to it because this person deserves the spotlight. So again, like, consider what that looks like for you and who you feel really aligned. There were people that I reached out to that I thought would have been an incredible collaboration for the event that never came back to me, and it was a real shame, because again, I think that would have really benefited them. And then now I'm on the other side of the event, people are coming to me because sometimes you need to go first. Sometimes people need to see the social proof before they will commit. So obviously next year's event will be bigger and better than ever, but it doesn't mean it's going to be more expensive than ever, or it just means I appreciate more so the power that and the responsibility that I have as that host. So again, only working with the people that I've worked with personally before, that I can build that brand, collaboration, and ensure, correct contracts are in place and all the things. So that was kind of that with the sponsors. Then with regards to sales and marketing, so again, this started early. So I started with a pre-sale because, again, you've got to put a lot of money up front to secure a bigger venue. So I had like a Hilton. Again, that fell into like what I wanted. But even I think a few years ago, I just had an event at the Treehouse in Shoreditch, which obviously wasn't as big an audience. It wasn't a big chain hotel, but I actually had to put more down because it was a smaller venue. So I had to put like £2,000 or £3,000 down up front before they'd even let me book the day. So I think it's better to be aware of that. And then if you don't have to put it all down, that's amazing. Sometimes bigger venues are actually more flexible because they want to get those dates booked out. So one of the ways to mitigate those costs, because again, I don't believe in putting yourself at financial jeopardy, was pre-selling tickets. So I did that, had a influx at the beginning of the year when I decided on the date and everything else and got the venue confirmed, and that offset a lot of the upfront costs, which was amazing. I'm doing the same this year. So if you book your ticket now, you get an absolutely incredible, like, no-brainer rate of like £77, where the tickets went up to 150 for this event, and potentially they might be more on the next one because it's going to be a bigger venue. There's going to be more going on. And I want to elevate that experience. So get in quick, basically, if you're interested in joining us next year. The date is already confirmed as Friday the 28th of November. And I just think also, I love the fact that it's like so close to the end of the year that it's a great opportunity to realign and really be thinking about the year ahead. So that's all of the feedback that I've had from the women that came, was like, this has given me so much to think about as I move into 2025 about what I want to create, what I want to be doing. And actually, I've realized half the stuff that I've done this year either hasn't worked for me and now you've given me new inspiration, or I don't actually want to be doing it anymore. So now I know there's other ways. I'm going to lean into that. And also then a lot of those are going to go on and invest in the speakers and hopefully some of my programs, and be supported, which is amazing as well. So as they move into that new year with renewed confidence and clarity, they've got the support and everything and the connections, everything they need to be successful. That to me feels like a really nice symbolic date. So it will be the same next year. So with regards to sales and marketing, obviously, as I said, I started with the early bird pre-sale. Then I was very proactive at identifying opportunities throughout the year where I could get another influx of ticket sales. Because here's the thing, you don't want to exhaust your audience when you've got such a big lead time. So it's about announcing it in new and interesting ways. So that was like every time a speaker came on, that generated like a little bit of interest in the event. Every time I went to an event or I had something going on, like a collaboration and it's a new audience, I'd make an invitation and remind them about the event. Equally, as new speakers came on board, they would obviously generate some interest as well. As it got closer to the event, obviously for most of the year I was promoting the mastermind and the retreat in California, which is also included in the mastermind. So I mean, like, literally, why would you not want to be in this mastermind? I'm not blowing my own trumpet, but toot, because you get the beautiful, feminine, incredible experiences. We've got our Christmas do next week, which is going to be at a fabulous, like, 5-star hotel, and we've got a shaman coming. We've got beautiful gifts. We've got action planning, lovely lunch. Like, why would you not want that as part of your business journey, as well as like having that community and support in an intimate way to help you grow? We've also got like fabulous retreats abroad. So next year is Portugal, but then also you've got the masculine, like, it pays to be in that mastermind because you're going to get access to increased opportunities for visibility and up leveling your business and stages to speak on. Like, why would you not want to be part of the mastermind? Just saying. So where was I going with that? So just come join the mastermind basically, and you get to be included in all of this next year anyway. But sales. So yes, so obviously so because a lot of my focus was on, launching and promoting the retreat and the mastermind throughout the year, there were periods of time where it's like, it doesn't make sense for me to also be promoting the event. So I just kind of let it breathe for a few months. And then again, like, as people came in the mastermind and new speakers came on board, that generated more interest. As it got closer, I did a lot of offline marketing because I wanted to speak to local business owners. So that looked like networking myself at in-person events, joining the Chamber of Commerce, as well as like leaflets, ladies, like, offline marketing, literally going to speak with local business owners that I thought would be either a great collaboration, or great to attend. So I put myself in the right room and definitely generated sales off the back of that. But because I wanted to ensure that the speakers had a great audience who were likely to be interested in health, wealth, and business success. So I really focused on where are those people going to be, what kind of businesses are they going to have. Also then finally resorted to ads. I also used affiliates to help me, make sales also and promote the event. So I wasn't just kind of driving my own audience mad. Again, I've got even more plans and thoughts on how to, because I want it to be bigger and better. I want there to be 100 women, 150 women. I want this to be the go-to event every year. If you keep doing what you've always done, like, that's the definition of insanity and expecting a different outcome. So I have to think even more creatively. So I've got lots of plans as to how I'm going to grow it next year, and give even more opportunities to incredible business owners. So hopefully that, and I guess what I would say is like a final thought from like the more less tangible things is like, the event was incredible, like amazing. The feedback on the day, I literally could have cried all day. Like, I was so supported by my fabulous support team and by the speakers and by 99.9% of the women that were there. it was truly so beautiful. Like the feedback was exactly as I'd hoped. It was all about, the energy of the women that are attending was lovely. The speakers were incredible. The value was amazing. The experience exceeded expectations. That wow moment came in like several times throughout the day with little unexpected touches. And that was amazing. But there were a few like negative things that happened that was really disappointing, and just really made me sad. And obviously, I'm 8 months pregnant and very tired. So I've realized that, I'm more resilient than this as a business owner. I am definitely like a seasoned entrepreneur, and I know how things go. And when women operate from a place of fear, scarcity, lack, they are going to act in ways that are not in accordance with their highest self. And that is their journey. That's not mine. It's not mine. I'm not here to be somebody's kind of like emotional punching bag or scapegoat. If they are ultimately not happy with themselves, hurt people and try and hurt others. And there were definitely like a few things that came off the back of it. I'm also aware, like the universe, Gay Hendricks, the big leap, when you have an incredible high, that, like I say, it was I was practically floating by the time I came home, because my vibrations were so high throughout the day. I had like a spiritual hangover on the Saturday where I had the worst migraine all day long. I couldn't even look on socials. I felt so bad. I was trying to repost people's content. And I had such would just make you cry moments throughout the day. Like this, people have brought me gifts. My support team, like I say, went above and beyond, and everybody was so lovely. Those couple of people that just had their own journeys that wanted to project onto me, and these weren't people that had paid to be at the event, by the way. Everybody that came had an incredible time. It was other people that should have been more supportive, but it's a lesson learned for me. Like I say, you need to protect who gets access to you and your audience and the platforms that you create. Don't believe that everybody is coming in with the best of intentions. And I'll definitely be protecting myself a lot more next year in response to that. So that's the thing, like the universe only sends us the lessons we needed. But I definitely needed a moment on Sunday to kind of process some of that and just be like, why are they so mean? Like, why do people, not fulfill their contracts, not act in the spirit of women supporting women? But that is life. Like I say, that is the journey. So for me, I needed like a little reframe on the Sunday in a moment, just to kind of honor the hurt and the upset and the disappointment out of like literally 3 women's actions out of a massive group. And then I was fine. And I was like, yes, because if you can't handle that, and if you can't, as a leader, then you've got no business kind of leading other women, because it's going to happen. That's just human psychology and nature. So for me, it kind of shook me for a minute and made me think, do I even want to do this next year? But I recognized for myself, no, like don't focus on the negative, focus on the positive. And there were like 70 women in that room that absolutely changed their life, hopefully. And I did the implementation session yesterday with the women that attended, and again, like has really lit a fire up my ass, because what they were doing was completely the wrong thing. They were on the wrong platforms, creating the wrong kind of content. They were never going to be able to grow their businesses from where they were, because that is all the information that the Instagram algorithm had shown them. It made them invest in courses and programs that they had no business investing in, because Instagram decided that that was what was best for them. Putting themselves in the room with the women that and the mentors that have access to all of the strategies and all of the, have been around for a really long time and know how to create businesses depending on your niche and your skill set and your personality type and your end goal and your client. Having access to all of that feedback is truly what is the game changer in business, not just rocking up on social media and saying, sell me something, because that's ultimately what you're doing when you're not reclaiming your power and being more discerning around finding the right information that makes the right sense for you. So that's again why I felt more compelled than ever that this event has to happen next year. So these women that are attending have access to all the strategies, all the information, all the mentors that have all been kind of, approved in terms of integrity and value. And so I know that everybody is safe. Like, they will all go to the right person for them, and be supported in the right way that makes sense for them going into 2025. So apologies, ladies. This is a much longer episode than I intended, but hopefully you have got so much value from this. So please let me know. Reach out to me on Instagram, subscribe to the podcast, let me know on YouTube that you have watched it, because again, like, there's so much power in this. And if you want to be involved next year, I have 3 opportunities. You can book your early bird exclusive pre-sale price now for your tickets, which is only £77 for the regular tickets. You can become an exhibitor or a sponsor of the event, or you can actually apply to be a speaker. So let me know again, in whatever platform you're consuming this, how you want to support the Wealthy Women movement next year, and whether it has inspired you to do your own event as well. So thank you so much for joining me, and I look forward to hearing all of your takeaways.